Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
This segment of the Oregon Voters Digest, I'm Bruce Broussard. Hey, I've been here for a number of years, and by George, we got so much on the table today that we've got to talk about. There's all kinds of issues that are happening here in the Pacific Northwest, nationally, locally, home-wise, individual-wise. I mean, we got a lot of issues here. And in many ways, people are not talking about the issues and solutions of the issues. And they get caught into the personality thing and this, that, and the other, and whatever. People are angry. Knowing where to go, what to do, not looking at the news, making news. I mean, seriously, we're really having some serious problems. So anyway, I guess from this day forward until we can get into our next election cycle aspect of it, we're going to try to start educating the public about what is really going on in our country. And more specifically, and the way we're going to be able to do that, we're going to focus, like we should be doing, focus in our area here in the Pacific Northwest. Portland, Oregon is on the international map right now. There's been so many things that have been said about Portland, Oregon, and a lot of times a lot of folks they're not aware of what's going down. So with all due respect, I just wanted to put that little intro to begin with to let you know that that's where I'm going to be going. But at the same time, you got to remember, I'm just only one person, and this stuff is confronting me in many ways, because here I am, I'm supposed to be basically, and all I'm doing is sharing the information and getting folks to the table that I feel that could maybe basically make some sense as to defining the area and why we're having these kinds of problems, and why it's so important for us to focus on the issues and solutions to these issues. Okay? With that, that's where I'm going to be coming. So now you know where I'm at. So now my first guest on this subject, he's been on the show many times over before. We got John Leuenberger, who's here. I'm sure you remember his dad, Jim. And for those of you who are new to the show, Jim was a very dear friend of mine. He passed away not too long ago. But the fact of the matter is, he was very active in community across the board, from a national perspective to local. And I really missed him. But guess what? I got part of the genes now with his son, John, and John is on the show here with me today, and he's very, very much too. He's right up front. He's got the baton, and so John is going to be here on the show with me today, and we're going to be talking about whatever comes to his mind and whatever comes to the table. He will react to it, and vice versa. I've done this for years, and so he's basically got the same deal. He's got those genes. And that's where Jim and I was when we were communicating. So now he's the young guy. He's carrying the baton, and it just so happened I just happened to be sitting in his seat. So I think it's going to be an enjoyable interview at this point in time, and he'll be on an ongoing basis as far as I'm concerned. That's the plan. Okay.
That was the plan. There was a little bit of a hiatus there, right? I was on for a little bit, and I wasn't.
That's right.
Circumstances change. My health has improved since then, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me back.
You know, I didn't even have to introduce him. He just jumped right on in there, and that's the beauty of the youth today aspect of it. Trust me, he's an ideal proponent of taking the baton and running with it. So you'll be seeing him not only now, but from a futuristic standpoint. So he's sitting in the same seat that I am, and like Jim and I are waiting to get some more response from him, because that's what I said. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today. So welcome aboard, buddy, again.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Good to be here.
Everybody's okay? Mom's okay?
My brother just went out to Jacksonville, Florida area, or he's in Gainesville. He's serving a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What a blessing. What a blessing that we have young people who are going out and devoting their lives to spreading the gospel. And to spreading the word of Jesus Christ.
Right. Again, for the benefit of, we are going, this is going to be a wide range situation.
Yeah.
And I'd like to spend a little time. We have some time.
Yeah,
spend a little time in terms of giving the folks the opportunity to get a little bit better feel of who you are.
Okay.
And some of the things that you've come on along the way. You got a lane now. You got a lane, and that's part of my whole push. We all have lanes.
Well, yeah, I'd be happy to.
Talk about a little bit about yourself.
My background. So, born and raised in the Portland metro area, mainly Lake Oswego area. Grew up here. My father was a criminal defense attorney. He did a lot of defending of all sorts of people. My mother grew up here as well, from a humble home of an accountant, and so we have great deep ties to the Pacific Northwest. Born and raised here. My heart is with this state, this area. It's a beautiful area. Feels like God's country, in my opinion.
Okay.
You can get pretty much a little bit of everything from the world inside the state of Oregon.
Yes.
You don't have to travel far. So that's a pitch for anyone who's looking to come out.
Yes.
You can find anything here. But I, went away to school in Utah. I served a 2-year mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints myself in Denver. I loved that. Went to school to be a medical assistant in Utah, worked there for some time, right in the midst of COVID. My political ideals were a little shifted to where they are now. Working in a hospital, I saw a lot of the issues that COVID brought, and that was a politically charged issue itself, even though it was a health issue. Became very political.
How was that?
Working in a hospital. So I remember I actually had two different experiences. So I worked in the hospital. I was very pro-mask, pro-vaccine, just because we thought that was going to be the cure for everything. I worked all throughout COVID, very hard. Really just pushed myself to the limit. And then towards the end of the year in December, my father passed away. So this is December 2020. I had chosen not to go home for Thanksgiving that year because of COVID and being warned that things could get bad, I could get sick. It was just in the midst of, the very beginning, first year, right? So I didn't come home for Thanksgiving, but I got a call from my father Thanksgiving evening, just saying, "Hey, we miss you. We love you. Don't have to call right now, but we miss you, all the family, right?" And that was kind of the last time I had a conversation with him, because I called him immediately afterwards, and I, said I missed them too, and I was sad because I wasn't at home for Thanksgiving. And then a week later, he was dead.
But you communicated with him.
Well, that was the last time we spoke. We spoke voice to voice, right? And unfortunately, that was the last time that I had drunk alcohol. So it's a very seared into my brain memory, and I think it's helped to shape me into the political ideals, or bringing me back to the political ideals I had when I was younger. That fear, the fear-mongering that occurred during COVID-19 to separate people from their families, perpetrated by the government, mind you, right? The government was like, stay home, alone, stop the spread.
And whose administration was it at that time?
It started with Donald Trump, but he was being influenced by Anthony Fauci, of all people, and then also it continued on into the Joe Biden administration. But Anthony Fauci was don't get me started on that, man. Let me just say, Anthony Fauci was pulling the strings behind the whole COVID nonsense.
He was the point person.
He was the one that was saying first that masks didn't work, and then magically they changed their tune. He was the one that said 6 feet of distance between you and the next person. So you and I are too close, according to the caution COVID standards had put, but it was for our safety that you stay so far away from other people, and that you don't go home if you're from a different location. You don't congregate together because you could possibly get sick. That I haven't felt good since then about it. My views on, after my father's death, my views on healthcare, my views on the whole situation changed, and I moved back to Oregon after 6 months after my father passed. I felt this need to come back here, and ever since then I've kind of been rebuilding my life, rebuilding the life that I had. I had left my life in Utah. I've been working job to job, but I felt this recently and even before now, but more reinvigorated feeling is that I need to get out there and I need to talk and I need to share. Because, look at what happened to Charlie Kirk in Utah. He just was sharing opinions, differing opinions from other people, and he was murdered.
Freedom of speech.
For just, yes, expressing his First Amendment right.
That's right, yeah.
And it's because there's this charge in this country right now that unfortunately both sides of the political arena are a part of. The left versus the right, the let's not just say the left versus the right, the Republicans and the Democrats. They're pitting the people against one another. They're saying to each other behind closed doors, hey, isn't it great we're making all this money from all these lobbyists? But in the public arena, they're fighting each other, and they're sowing hatred and discontent, and it's malicious, and it's wrong.
And at the point you made in regards to Republicans and Democrats, but at the same time, the definition of Republicans during that particular time, now even to today, they're conservative Republicans and liberal Republicans.
Right.
There are conservative Democrats and liberal Democrats.
Well, let's just shed some light on it, right? When this country first started, there was not two political systems. It was multiple. There were so many different systems. It was kind of a mess. And then over time, this two-party system developed, and for as long as our human recollection, our historical recollection between you and me, all we've known is Republicans and Democrats.
Right.
But Republicans and Democrats, over your lifetime, they've swapped values. And they haven't held the same values that they had when they were initially started. And they're not holding the same values that they had 50 years ago. So to me, it's kind of a sham. The political system of Republicans and Democrats in this country, it's a sham because they flip belief systems. So why do we continue to funnel or put these people forward? That's why I feel a necessity to come in and talk, because more people need to step up who don't like what's going on right now. And there's a lot of people who don't like what's going on right now. You can just feel it in the air. There's this tension. And maybe people don't feel it outside of Oregon, but there's a tension in Oregon.
Oh, very much so.
In the Portland area especially. People who just want to live their lives, and then people who are so outspoken and ruining life for people in the city and making everyone else's lives difficult because these people in Washington keep getting up and yelling F Trump or all of this stuff. They're sowing this hatred, this discontent in the local areas because well, first of all, they're on their little hiatus right now. They're on their government shutdown because they couldn't agree to whatever they couldn't agree to. So they get to sit at their homes, or maybe they'll go out to Washington and grandstand for a little bit and make all of the people who are suffering because of the benefits they're losing because the government shut down, they're making them all go and start striking or start going to the streets and start protesting and saying Trump is the reason we have all these problems. He's a nasty king. He's a nasty person, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Trump's not a great man. He's become a politician. He's sitting in the seat, right?
Sitting in that seat.
And there's a major difference between the systems in place between this administration, the previous administration, and Trump's first administration, right? There's a lot of people out in the streets during both of Trump's administrations. OPB reported that this is the third nationwide protest against Donald Trump just this year. So if that's the case, a third nationwide protest against the person in the seat, but then we look back at the Biden administration, the last administration. How many times did the opponents of the Biden administration go to the streets and cause this discontent, this
when he was sitting in that seat?
When he was sitting there, no, people just kind of lived. They just tried to live their lives, and the side that's now protesting Donald Trump was silent about what the person in the seat was doing. They might not have liked what he was doing, but it wasn't in their political favor to go and protest the current person. Now it's in everyone's political favor to go and protest Donald Trump because he's evil. He's a rapist. He's a felon. Oh.
Well, you know, that's a good point you raised at that particular point, because before he ran, he was heavily involved in politics on both sides of the aisle. Okay.
He funded a lot of groups.
Right, because he was a developer.
The NAACP recognized Donald Trump.
Sports and all that stuff. And
Tiger Woods was
he was very much involved. But then all of a sudden, he changed the format. He got off the lane. He got off the off ramp and said, "I want to run for office."
Right. Well, he did with his first term, and now he's gotten right onto the lane with everybody else.
Yes.
And he's just as much a politician this time around as any other politician, because he learned that no one respected him during his they respected him out of fear during his first term.
But before he got in the first term, basically he had respect. I mean, he was all over the place, right? You know what I mean? At that point in time?
Well, the View when he was running for president really liked him at first. Remember that? The ladies of the View.
Oh yeah.
They had him on. They used to love Donald Trump. Now, if you watch the View and hear any of the hatred that they're spewing against Donald Trump, these were his friends.
Well, he was part of New York.
These were his friends.
He was New York. Yeah, they were all part of.
They had him on the View before he ran for president, and he told them he's running for president. And they were all for it until they heard what he was going to do.
Until he got elected and sat in that
No, and started hearing what he was going to do. Then they started saying, I don't know about this.
But then that was just chatter. And when you sit in that seat.
But also remember, during that election, Hillary Clinton was the clear favorite. Yeah. And no one believed that Donald Trump was going to win the election. That's why I think his friends didn't really put up more an affront towards him, because I feel like they were like, this is a joke. Donald Trump running for president? There's no way that he can win. And then he won. And the entire country was shocked. Remember that? Shocked?
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle gets up on SNL and he's like, I knew it was going to happen. I was in Ohio. I saw all the people out there. You guys were deluded to think that Hillary Clinton was about to win office. He's like, I was out there with the people of Ohio. And he's like, a lot of white people in Ohio. And there was a lot of people out voting for Donald Trump. But no one could say it out loud. No one could. I mean, it's to up until this day, or up until I've refused to acknowledge that I voted for Donald Trump against Hillary Clinton. But I remember getting this feeling, and I wasn't very political at the time. I got this feeling. Now, granted, I'm not a big Trump fan now because he's gone ahead and broken every promise that he said he was going to for the American people. But at the time, I just thought, if I don't stand up and vote for this man, and Hillary Clinton gets in office, she's an evil woman, purely evil woman, along with her husband and the Bushes and, sorry, Bruce. The politics in Washington, D.C. are dirty and evil. And the Clintons, they're part of it. So I had this feeling in my bones that if I didn't stand up, and my roommate at the time said the same thing, but for the opposite. He said, if I don't go and vote for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump wins, blah, blah, blah. I had this feeling in my bones that if I didn't go and actually vote for Donald Trump, that we were in big trouble. Hillary Clinton would have been devastating to this country. Just like Kamala Harris. Both of them. Joe Biden was devastating for this country. Barack Obama, not great for this country. A lot of our past leaders, I think one of the last good ones was John F. Kennedy. He was doing a lot of good things for us. And then they killed him.
Okay.
They tried to kill Donald Trump. Or someone tried to kill Donald Trump because he kind of turned things over. That's what John F. Kennedy was doing during his presidency, was he not? He was going against what everybody wanted him to. He wanted to end the war in Vietnam. He wanted to give women a fair shot. He was doing a lot of things that a lot of powerful people didn't like. Donald Trump's done the same thing, but he's turned into a politician. He lies. He says, I'm not going to attack all of my political opponents. And then what does he do? He sends the justice system against his political opponents. Just
let's think about that for a moment.
Like Biden did.
Because, no due respect, you basically, we got New York. When you start thinking about New York, that's a whole different lane, okay? And he was in that lane.
So
think about that.
I understand, but are New Yorkers, we're just allowed to accept that New Yorkers are liars? And they'll go back on their word?
Yeah. A lot of folks don't realize
so
that.
New Yorkers don't have integrity, is what you're saying.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. Whatever that, but it's a New York. There's only one Big Apple.
Yeah, well, that's unacceptable in my eyes.
Yeah, but outside of that, see, but you weren't a part of that.
No, I grew up in a home where honesty and integrity were central topics and beliefs in my family.
You weren't born in the Big Apple.
Right. Well, but I think that if my father and my mother raised me in the Big Apple, I think I would have had integrity and honesty.
Now you imagine things. No.
You know my father. It doesn't matter.
I know him.
You remember?
I know him.
No matter where he was.
Oh yes.
Honesty and integrity were deep ingrained into his soul. Do you think that he would let his New Yorker little of a son go around and lie to people and not hold up on bargains that he agreed to? No, he wouldn't have. My father never would have. That is what's frustrating to me, is that's what the political system is. That's what business system is. There's no honor. There's no integrity. These people need to be held accountable.
Well, again, I'm glad you're giving us this background. It's very important, because when you think about it, before he got elected.
Which time?
The first time.
The first time. Okay.
The first time. It was just by a sort of a whim, so to speak. He got a little sort of frustrated with the folks he was interviewing and giving money to. See, it was all of a sudden it was affecting his.
Well, he was funding the Clintons and
everybody.
The Obamas.
Yeah, everybody.
He was funding them, and he's like, "Wait a second, my money is not."
Yeah, this is BS. I mean, but they won't give me a loan now. See, that kind of a deal. And all of a sudden he said, "Boom, I'm going to get this thing. I'm going to change this thing. I'm going to do this thing." But one thing you can say it, but once you get in that lane, it's a different ball game. Because when you get in that lane, all of a sudden, here's your definition now.
Well, but I don't think getting in the lane should allow you to change your belief system.
Well, I agree with that part, and that's what he did. He didn't understand that. Hey, when you get in this particular lane and you sit in this seat, what you think about what you're wanting to support, it doesn't matter anymore. It's over here.
Right.
And depending upon who has the control, right, the element, whether it be the Democrats or the Republican Party aspect of it, right, got me? And then there's the personality thing. So the only thing that they had to deal with him was, guess what? the personality thing, because it was the Big Apple.
Right.
And that's what they spent that time on. And that made him angry. I mean, all of a sudden, getting in his personal life aspect of it, and you know, in the Big Apple, you know, the financiers and all this, that, and the other, he was sitting at those tables. Got me? Mm-hmm. Got me? But then all of a sudden, when you get in there and you say, "Oh no, I don't like the way you did this. No, I think we can do it this way." And say, "No, hell no, you got to do it this way. You got to be kidding." And so I think that's when it started, because then all of a sudden they had no way to. He was just pretty adamant about how he felt about something. There was no such thing as cutting him off, because he understood the definition of deceit.
Mm-hmm. Right, as a business owner, but being president is completely different. And I think that running things the way that he did the first term might have, but he had bad actors in his administration. Now I don't know. I mean, the Donald Trump that is in power now is. Now, I understand why people are saying no kings, they're going out and protesting, but the Donald Trump that we have now is going against the things that he promised the people that elected him. So during his first time, he offhandedly said, I'd look into legalizing marijuana. Mm-hmm. That never happened. Between Trump saying he would and Biden saying he would, national legalization of marijuana has not happened. It's still on the schedule system, and it is still considered very hard narcotic.
We had a big start to do that. We had a big thing.
Us, Washington, California, this whole West Coast is weed central. Let's be honest. I mean, we grow the best green there is. But
did you say Earl said what?
Huh?
Earl what? Blumenauer said what?
No, I didn't say nothing about Earl Blumenauer.
Okay.
But what I said was Trump and Biden both said, I'll legalize it. They never did. Now Trump's Pam Bondi has said that gun owners or marijuana users should not own guns. Now I know that the form that you fill out when you're buying a gun explicitly states that marijuana, even if you're in a legal state, is still illegal on the federal schedule, and you're not allowed to have it, right? But alcohol is not one of those drugs that's listed that's prohibitive. Plenty of people go out and drink and shoot, or alcohol and
sweet
ammunition.
Alcohol. Sweet alcohol.
Right, well, beer, drink, whatever they do. But alcohol and guns, that's a tradition that's old as time in this country. Now, I don't say that's a good idea, mixing in fact, that's a terrible idea. But alcohol is much more inhibitive and worse of a substance than marijuana, mm-hmm. and yet alcohol, you're allowed to, it's a gray line. You should not mix the two, but people do all of the time. They do. Mm-hmm. And you have local gun stores who are, taking pictures as a company, and there's beers in the photo with them, as if their guns and beer just kind of go together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so Bondi wants to go after all of the marijuana users who own guns. Or they want to make it illegal that you can't own a gun if you use marijuana. Well, that's an infringement on your Second Amendment right. It says, shall not be infringed.
And it's the law.
That's the law. That's the national law that was set into place. It goes, First Amendment, you have the right to you say whatever you want, believe whatever you want, do whatever you want, as long as you don't hurt people. That's what the Supreme Court has said. And the Second Amendment is, you're allowed to own guns to make sure that you're safe, that there's no, shall we say, tyrannical force in the land.
Yeah. All outside,
and this won't be infringed upon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've seen time and time again since Nixon's presidency, right? The restriction of gun owners on their basic liberties. The Second Amendment has continued to be dragged through the mud, and it's just abysmal.
So, okay.
And I could be wrong. Don't quote me. I'm wrong a lot. So if I'm wrong about some of the things I'm saying, I apologize.
You know, folks, this is John Neuenberger. I mean, the same guy that I met. His name was Jim, his father. And in fact, he never mentioned the fact that John brought him over here on the show when he was a kid.
Oh, on previous shows we have, yeah. So I was, what, like 12-ish or something? So it's been a little over 20 years.
Yeah, maybe earlier than that. I think he brought you over as a baby one time.
I don't know. No, that would have been Jacob.
No, that was Jacob.
Jacob, so like 12 years younger than me. Yeah,
that was Jacob.
Yeah.
That was Jacob. Had you in the back. Oh, I see. Okay. You in training. You in boot camp.
I remember coming to the studio and you had cameramen and being like, "Oh, this is very interesting." Now everything's all digital and you don't need cameramen. And the background was different. You had the cityscape background.
Yep. Been here a couple of days.
Just a bit.
Just a couple of days.
But you know, I strongly believe that you know, I'm not a perfect human being. I'm not trying to say I am. I make mistakes constantly, but people need to start speaking out.
Well, think about it now. What about Donald Trump? I mean, he made mistakes and whatever. So, and he was speaking out.
Yeah.
On his own terms, right?
Yeah, but he's in the seat and he's proven that he was not worthy of the seat.
Okay. Is it what?
He's not worthy of the seat, in my opinion.
Oh, let's define that a little bit. Let's not just sit up there. Why?
Listen, I honestly believe that the American people should start expecting a higher sense of integrity amongst their politicians. For too long, we as American people, as Oregonians even, have accepted that the people that we're voting into office are going to screw us at some point. It's a matter of how and when. And we have accepted that's the reality of the circumstances that we live in. We've accepted in our governments that politicians lie and will never follow through on the promises they make to you. Why? Why are we, the American people, Oregonians, accepting this? This is unacceptable. It's egregious. It needs to be fixed immediately.
How do we fix that when, in essence, they're the one that they're going to have to...
If we don't start holding them accountable and demanding receipts...
How are we going to do that?
Well, you voted them in, right? So we voted them in. Or, you know, if you didn't vote them in, the majority voted them in and they're still in power, right? And you need to start attending your local meetings, attending your state meetings, there's not really national meetings. There's national, the DNC and the RNC, but like I said at the top of those are both corrupt institutions in and of themselves. So it starts locally. Start going to your city meetings. Start going to any county meetings or state meetings that you can do, and start making a change. You pay taxes. You are not just, and you don't do it willingly. It is a requirement to pay taxes in the state of Oregon, in the country of the United States of America. You're required to pay taxes.
That's your rent money.
And
everybody pays rent.
Right. Well, it's supposed to go to the betterment of this country, to pay for the politicians to be representing the people.
And before I forget, as a layperson, I'm a very layperson. I got to catch up with you, a little bit. But it was a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. They always use that terminology.
Well, that's what the founding fathers wrote into the documents that they did. They wrote that. Right. It wasn't a request that the government be governed by the people. It was understood and acknowledged and even made into law that they were put into power by the people, to be governed by the people, and to be told what to do when the people asked them to do it.
Okay. What if I said to you, I'm throwing this on the table. Okay, first of all, the acceptance, which is out there now, and I say a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, when it first original. Now, what if I said it's a people of the government?
Well, that's what's going on now.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. There's people. There's
No,
people.
that's what we're trying to get to now.
A people of the government.
People of the government. Not remember now. A government is like it's a total. Is a total entity.
You have to explain it a little bit.
Okay, government. When you say government, it's like two different entities. And normally the Congress is within that particular arena. You got me?
Well, there's three entities in our government. There's the checks and balances. So we have the judicial, the legislative, and the executive.
Just like you were saying, as a layperson, like you said, the voters are going to have to get out, and we're going to change things. We're talking about getting back on track, so to speak.
The best thing that you can do as a voter is go to your local city or county meetings and affect the change there.
But we don't vote that way anymore, remember?
Well, we should.
We should, but
we're getting ballots for the upcoming election in November. I didn't vocalize it, but I thought Bruce and I should bring our ballots because he's got a ballot for Multnomah County, and I've got a ballot for Clackamas County.
We'll talk about
that. To compare what's on the ballots, but then also to say who put this on here. Why is this on here? Who wants this? We should dissect our ballots and start being like, okay, who's behind this? What's the point? Why do they want this tax money? What's not sufficient with the current tax money that they're receiving that they can't do anything, that they need more tax money?
Okay.
We need to start dissecting our ballots more.
And there's this entity that's doing this, and he pretty well controls the government by the elected because he's got the money that got them in there.
Are you talking about the voters pamphlet, or what are you talking about?
Just the people. Okay, the representation of the people, as opposed to the individuals that we voted on to get there. Okay, so you ask yourself the question: did the masses of the people get the person there?
No one. No, I'm going to be honest with you. If there's any tax, so the city of Lake Oswego has instituted they're requesting more money for either bonds or for taxes to pay for more school buildings to bolster the school district. Now we're talking about the city of Lake Oswego. A lot of money in the city of Lake Oswego.
Who's pushing that agenda?
They have a foundation in the Lake Oswego School District that collects millions of dollars a year. Why do they need more taxpayer money when they're getting donations from taxpayers to fix the school district in their so-called foundation? Where is this money going from? And you can probably see it's rampant across the entire state. The corruption But
the people who put the money there say, wait a minute, if I put the money up there, then here's my choice of the school. I want to do this is what I want to do with my money.
The school districts, the Oregon school districts, the whole state is abysmal. We used to be one of the best states in education. We're one of the worst states in education at this point. What's going on? We have so much money in this state, so-called money in taxes.
So who's calling the shots?
Oh, that's a great question. Who is calling the shots?
Who's calling the shots?
Is it the AFT? Is it...
it's the money and power group.
Is it Governor Kotek? Is it who is it? Is it whoever's behind Governor Kotek? Because she's been a lame governor. I mean, we should recall Tina Kotek for what she's done.
Yeah, but the people put her up there, right?
We can recall her just as much as we put her up there, or the majority put her up there.
And I looked at the three candidates that ran for governor during that particular time. It was interesting. You had Betsy Preston? You had... No, we had Johnson.
Betsy split the vote between. She was just a non-entity in that election. She split the vote between Drazen and Kotek.
Drazen should have been the president.
I mean, I know that you were on. I saw you in some of her ads.
Yeah, bottom line, she was the most solid true. I mean, she's a very.
Yeah, but here's my worry is she would have just flipped like everyone. She would have flipped like Donald Trump as soon as she got into that seat.
Really, you think so?
Everyone, as soon as they get a little bit of power, unless they have some sort of integrity
but it's not her
or
power,
honesty.
It's someone who put her there, right?
Right.
It's supposed to be the people.
Well,
right?
she's in power, and then some group comes by and says, "Hey, we got some money for you."
You know those people in the group?
No, I'm not familiar. They've never approached. They've never approached me.
John, you know the people there. Give us the name.
I've never been approached yet, and I hope to never be approached because I will turn you down every single time.
Weren't you the one that basically told me that if you want to know who's running the whole piece, just Google the names of the people who are making the $1 million or better?
There's ways to look up who's making money on the market. Yes, there's ways to do that.
What's the easiest way to do that?
You can just go anywhere. You just go online and say Congress trading results from X to X to do the dates that you want to see, and there's websites out there that are tracking.
What about just the individuals? What about the individual? And I'm just a layperson here, but what about just the individuals who was elected to office, been there for a quitting time, and you Google their name and ask, what is their net worth? And then those numbers come up. It just really just.
You can find that. Yeah, you can find all that information.
But how do they get those millions?
Well, let me just say. So
I'm just a layperson.
A lot of these guys are making millions of dollars in positions that are not paying millions of dollars. Oh, it's these career politicians that are representing us in Washington, D.C., but they say they're representing the states that they represent. So these people are millionaires, right? Tucker Carlson recently, or not recently, within the last year, had a former representative on his program, his personal program, and he was talking about the 9/11 Commission. And he was on the 9/11 Commission. He was looking into it when 9/11 happened. And he was one of the naysayers about the official report put out by the Bush administration. There's a lot of controversy around 9/11 at this point. And he left Congress with a mortgage. How many Congress people, senators, do you know that leave with their mortgage unpaid and not 2 or 3 multi-million-dollar homes in their arsenal? By the time these people usually leave office, they have so much wealth and property that they don't know what to do with, and it's because they were being influenced by evil actors. They are whores for money.
So how do you break that? How can the people break that? They're the ones that put them there.
Well,
they put them there.
Listen,
there. What's up now?
There's one way 250 years ago that a people did it. That's not what I want. I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for a revolution.
You're going back that far? I mean, what's up?
Well, I think Thomas Jefferson was right in that. I don't think a revolution is necessary every 20 years, but Thomas Jefferson firmly believed that the people should overthrow their government every 20 years. He was a founding father. He wrote the Declaration of Independence with others. He was one of the big ones.
Why did he do that? Why did he say that?
Why did he say that?
Yeah.
Because it always seems to go, history repeats itself, shall we say, that a government becomes tyrannical the longer it is in power. And the founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence even put forth that when a people see themselves being led by a tyrannical force, it is their duty to overthrow said force. It is their innate human responsibility to overthrow that force.
But isn't that the election process? Every 2 years or something? And all that,
sometimes.
Didn't they react to that?
Okay, well, let's go back. So the founding fathers were not perfect. We can agree to that, right? Some of them were slave owners. Some, they had flaws. Some of them were adulterous. Alexander Hamilton, but he's not the only one. There are lots of people. Thomas Jefferson, Madison, Washington, they all owned slaves. So let's just put their personal problems to the side, right? They set up this government. They said, you can fix this government by the means that we have put forth in the Constitution. You have the ability to change this government. And it was changed, right? So Washington set the standard for the American president. 2 terms, that's it. Until a tyrant named FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, stayed in office for 4 terms. Now, the Constitution did not clearly state in it that a president needs to step down after 2 terms. George Washington set the standard, and he believed that the men that followed him would be honorable leaders. When FDR, under the guise of, oh, he's fixing the economy, oh, he's created all these social institutions, he's really helped us. FDR really helped us. So they let him stay in office for nearly 12 years before he died. But right after his political dynasty, they put into law that a president could not serve more than 2 terms. The standard was set. It was set with Washington. The FDR was not an honorable man. He did not follow the honor system. He stayed in power far too long. They had to put into writing that it is a 2-term standard.
So who were the other beneficiaries?
Well, so at the same time, they could have also said, well, hold on, wait a second. Congress there's no term limits on Congress. They would then also look at the Supreme Court, but I feel that the Supreme Court having lifetime terms is okay. Personal opinion, sue me. But at the time, the Congress could have reevaluated their own term limits, and they probably did. But they didn't do anything about it. Senators could still serve as long as they serve. Representatives could serve as long as they want. We have career politicians in office right now that are so old and so rich because they played the game. Now, we've asked them to put in term limits at this point, and they're so corrupt that they're not going to. Back when FDR was president and they put in the term limits after his presidency, they could have put term limits in for Congress. They did not. That's the loophole. Now, a senator, a representative, can serve for as long as they want, and then when they've done enough backdoor deals, they can run for president of the United States of America. And then, then they're set for life after that.
So now there's the standard.
Well, that's the standard that we've sadly allowed to...
Right, we've allowed that to do that.
We've allowed it to do because the American people at the time of FDR didn't say, wait, not just the president. We should really look at the rest of these people. Do they need term limits as well? Do they need a cap on their term? No, because the people were happy because we had just come out of the Great Depression through joining the Second Great World War.
Yeah.
We had... FDR took us out of the Depression. Now, FDR knew that the Japanese were going to bomb Pearl Harbor and did nothing about it. That's a little known fact. But if he had stopped the bombing of Pearl Harbor, then the American people or our country could not have got involved in the war, and then the military-industrial complex couldn't have thrived, and then we wouldn't have been out of the economic... We became prosperous
as a result of
that after the Second World War.
Yeah.
And then our economy changed from being a producing economy to a consuming economy, but we were still producing all of the military arms for the world. So we were still a producing country in that we were producing arms to make sure that war never stopped, because war is a moneymaker, as we are familiar, right?
Yep.
How many trillions has our country benefited from being a part of the military-industrial complex? So it's quite fascinating that now we have people in power in Congress that refuse to make changes because they've made so much money, and the people that are continuing to funnel them are telling them, don't do that. Don't do that or the money stops, or something worse.
Well, that's my original point. it's not a government of the people. It's not people of the government.
No, we're governed by the government. We're not we're not governing the government. We're not the people. The people aren't governing the government.
Right, that's right.
The government is now. So we have made the switch, and this is wrong because we were told we were citizens from the incept of this country. Yeah. We are citizens. A citizen is not ruled; they rule.
But then all of a sudden, the cultural piece gets at the table. We've got how many dialects do we have here? How many cultures?
More than I want to even try to guess.
How many cultures are here? Now all of a sudden
we have quite a few. Yes.
No, now all of a sudden we're jumping into the situation where every culture is saying, "I want to be the power broker."
Yeah, but
the individual.
But and if they can garner the votes, if they can get the respect of the people and get the people behind them, all for it.
Well, we're right in the middle of this situation now with this. Well, we identify it, and I'm just as a layperson, I'm just saying we identify now as illegals, right?
So let's put it the way it is. So when you agree to come to this country legally, becoming a United States citizen, you agree to follow the Constitution and the laws of the land, right?
English.
Yeah,
that was standard language.
It was. I don't think that's being enforced as much.
No, but that's
days.
but that was the whole intent. Because you got all these different dialects.
It was a melting pot, so we needed to all speak some sort of the same language,
so we
right?
can communicate. Yeah.
So, but you agreed to live the Constitution or be a citizen of these United States.
Right.
I have not been through that process, so I don't know what rights you give away from your previous country. If you do, if that's a requirement of joining this country or becoming a citizen. But so you agree to follow the Constitution and the ideals of that Constitution. The ideals of that Constitution are not communist. They're not socialist. It's a democratic republic. So.
Do we spend enough time in our education system to educate people about that?
No, I think that's
one of the problems.
Well, first of all, I'm not well versed in what's going on in our public education system right now. I really should be. I don't know what the state standard is, but I can guarantee you that they're not really pushing forth American ideals like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or other
why is that
important
so?
things. To instruct a young citizenry that they have rights and they are not subjects is to inform them that they can overthrow the powers that be, and that goes against everything that certain leaders are about. They want a citizenry which is very much controllable. Look at the Nazis. So the Nazis, they controlled the people. How did they control the people? Well, they drugged them up, gave them money, power, and they made them robots.
That's a very lameish definition. Good.
Well, it's true, right? So the Nazis were just following orders. You heard it a lot during those trials. We were just following orders, as if they didn't know what they were doing. Now they were brainwashed into believing the ideals of the Nazi Party, but all of their defenses were, we were just following orders. The Führer's orders, right? They were following his orders. And it's my personal belief that at this time, the children of this country, this state specifically, I can speak to this state, are being taught that it's better to follow what other people tell you, your government tells you, than to think for yourself and realize that maybe the government isn't right. It's a lot easier to try and brainwash a public to believe that the government is on your side than it is to believe that the government just wants to control you and make you a cog in the machine. You're a hamster in their wheel, and they're giving you, I mean, I don't think the government should be involved in the legalization or criminalization of drugs, but in areas where they've decriminalized drugs, it's like those rats that they drink the cocaine water, right, or the heroin water, right? Right. They get if they just get that water and nothing else, and that's what's being fed to them, they'll overdose. And you know, there's something to be said about allowing the people to drink alcohol, or in states where weed is legal, allowing them to smoke weed. It's a lot easier to control a populace that is numbed by intoxicants than it is to control a populace.
And that's your definition of government that's controlling that, right?
Yeah.
And then, but you can't break it down in terms of defining what is that government.
Well, it's people that have been elected that are following the protocol of whoever set it forth.
But then not necessarily. The people who are elected may not be the entities that's actually, they might be using those people because they have some power.
Right. So the people that are being elected are being controlled by the money behind them.
Power. But at the same time, that has become a standard. So the whole idea is that, imagine trying to demolish that particular piece. You got to give them a way out. You got to give them an off-ramp.
Who? Which people?
The people who are in control of the government piece.
They get... Well, first of all...
I got power.
They got power and money, right?
No,
and they've used it to control the populace, to take away their ability to choose, mind you, right?
Right.
They deserve guillotines.
They what?
Guillotines.
What's the definition of guillotine?
Oh, well, the French, when they didn't like someone, they put their heads in this hole and dropped the blade that chopped their head off. Public executions...
Are we doing that now?
We aren't. And you know why we're not doing it? Because they've neutered us as a populace. We have every right to ask them peaceably to step down, and as soon as they stop...
We do that through the election process, right?
Well, are our elections even fair at this point? Are our elections even fair at this point?
Just one more time.
I could say it again. Are our elections even fair at this point?
Like I said, you got to think about the populace that's looking at the show. In most cases, they're not familiar with the history. It's not taught in school. They have no idea.
I mean, let's just shed light on the election of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The election 2020.
Oh, wow.
2020, right? How many more million Democrats voted for Joe Biden and then just fell off the face of the earth when Kamala Harris ran?
Wow. You know what? On that particular note, this has been great, this first hour.
Just like open your eyes, that's people. Right. Like look at the pattern. Before Joe Biden was elected, when Donald Trump ran against Hillary Clinton, there was only so many Democrats. When Joe Biden was elected, there was millions more. And when Kamala Harris was elected, they just disappeared. So what's going on?
Guess what?
Where are the answers here?
The answers are in the next show. We're gonna break right at that particular point in time. We're gonna have John back here, and we're gonna continue this conversation because we got some things that we got to say. Okay? Sounds good. Look, hey, it's been a pleasure. Tell your friends about the show. Get chapter 1, and we'll be getting in chapter 2, and you'll see that in the futures. Okay, Bruce. Again, I'm Bruce Broussard, and your host here today, and with another moderate host, John Neuenberger.
Don't forget to go to our YouTube. So YouTube, right. Oregon Voters Digest.
Yes.
Subscribe and like the videos. I know that you're either seeing this publicly or you're finding it on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on those videos. Go to the YouTube, find all of our past shows, and go see them.
That's good. That's the thing. Take care. Have a good one. We'll talk to you.